it just becomes one message in a sea of other messages thrown at you. To isolate it, sometimes you need to write it down so you can look at it from time to time. So what is your tight spot? What's the spot that if I had each of you individually to come up here and stand and share it with the congregation, you'd get all sweaty palms about and feel very uncomfortable. What is your tight spot? This one I do want you to do by show of hands. How many of you here would say that in the last 12 months you have found yourself in a significant tight spot? How many of you? Raise your hand. No, keep it up, because I want you to look around. Why do I want you to look around at this one? Because you need to know you ain't by yourself. You ain't the only one that have tight spot. All of us have them. And if you didn't raise your hand, it means one of three things. You were either lying, or you don't have enough faith to be tested, or you got a perfect storm right around the corner coming your way. One of those three things are going on. Amen? Now let me tell you something. We're going to get back to Abraham and Isaac as we go through these last 3 points. But tonight, I wanted to lay a foundation. And I want to let you in on one of my tight spots. I don't want to do this, but I am. I don't want to tell you what I'm going through, but I am. In the last month or so, I've been struggling with some physical things. Yes, I still go to the gym and run and exercise, but for some reason I'm not able to sleep well at night. I'm struggling with my weight. I'm struggling with fatigue, not being able to recoup the way I have been able to do all my life. I've noticed that my blood pressure, which has been absolutely perfect all my life, is inching up, and that has me concerned. I have noticed that little things are beginning to happen with me physically, but I don't understand. I might laugh and joke with you about being 29, but I'm 54. And I'm having some issues with it. That may not seem, the things I've mentioned to you may not seem like much to you, but I've never been sickly in my life. I've always been healthy. I've always been able to just bounce back just by taking a nap. Just by, laying down, taking a little short rest. And so these physical issues for me right now is a tight spot for me. Fortunately, my annual checkup is coming up, so we'll find out what's going on with me. If she tells me old age, she's a dead doctor. She will not make it through the day. But I'm telling you I'm sharing this with you tonight because I want you to know, the reason I'm sharing this is I want you to know I'm not giving this message to you out of the ivory tower that I've got it all together. Okay? I don't. This series is coming from the tight spot of me feel like I'm losing control of my health in some ways. And sometimes it consumes my thoughts. Sometimes it gives me doubt. If I'm physically able to continue the demanding schedule that I've had for the last 12 days without a day off. That's why tomorrow, if you call me tomorrow, there had better be blood involved or imminent death, or there will be. You see, but there's good news. There's good news for me and there's good news for you. Every time I talk to colleagues like Kay and others and friends I see that I trust, that is, and basically in a roundabout way ask, what is the point in your spiritual journey where you grow the most? Do you know where it is? It's always in the middle of their tight spot. Now, I would have rather have had a different answer from them. But you know, but I know it's true. That's where they feel the presence of God the most. It's in the midst of it. It's not after it. It's not even before it. Before it, you're just bouncing along. Afterwards, I'm glad it's over. But it's in the midst of it that you feel God's presence the most. A close friend of mine went through a very difficult job, tight spot, this past week. And I called him on, I guess it was Friday or whatever day it was. My days were running together. But I called him and I prayed with him. And he shared with me how he thought he would be very angry about this situation, this tight spot. And yet, he said he felt a sense of relief. Even he was surprised at it. That doesn't mean that he's not anxious about financial implications that might come from it. But I can tell you that what I have seen in him is tremendous growth in the midst of this that reflects God's presence right now in his tight spot. And I can tell you one of the things he's done to make it better. He's been getting outside of himself. He hadn't been concentrating on, oh, woe is me. He has allowed other things to occupy his mind. That would be a good pitch for coming on Wednesday night, the series I'm teaching, wouldn't it? But that, and I'm absolutely certain that what is going on with him right now, even his partner is amazed. His partner is waiting for the other shoe to drop. But it ain't going to drop. You know why? Because he feels the presence of God in his time. Maybe he knows something we need to learn. Amen? Peace that he has in the middle of his tight spot is his arena for growth. And it can be for you and me as well. Maybe I need to take a lesson from him. Amen? Whatever your tight spot may be. Amen? Let me tell you something. I've watched Kay and I've watched others in tight spots. I watched my brother Dennis this week, and he has just sailed through. Excelling. Why? Because he learned that service is the answer. And so in the middle of all of this, he spent 6 hours yesterday on a project that will bring comfort to somebody else. With excellence, I might add, since I've seen it. There are days that Kay gets really tired. You know, they ought to call her spare parts woman. She can't get through a metal detector without extending it off. I mean, and in the midst of it,